2024 is going to be one of the worst years for home buyers. In this video, I'll talk about why that is and who shouldn't buy a home. But this video isn't all doom and gloom. I'm also going to talk about some strategies you can use to buy a home and how you can avoid overpaying for a home. I think this coming year is going to be one of the toughest years that we've seen for real estate in recent history. Interest rates are at a 20+ year high. Currently, they're around 7.5%, and some people believe they may go up to 8% and maybe even more. This is a huge jump from when it was under 3% just 2 years ago. This has made it very difficult for buyers to be able to buy a home, especially if you currently have a mortgage and it's less than 7%. Because of this, I believe in 2024 there's going to be less inventory because sellers don't want to lose their low interest rate. We'll probably see some of the lowest home sales that we've seen since the housing crash in 2008. What makes this a little bit different is buyers are still able to buy within reason. So this is what I mean. If you remember in 2008, after the housing crash, it was almost impossible to get a mortgage. Banks weren't giving out loans. I remember one time my wife and we went to the bank to see about refinancing our home, and it was really difficult for them to find the paperwork that we needed to fill out. And I kid you not, when they did find the paperwork, there was dust on it. So that refinancing paperwork had not seen the light of day for a while. It wasn't uncommon to have homes be on the market for a year or two before someone actually bought the homes. Banks were not loaning out money. Now it's a little different. You're still able to get a loan. It's just a matter of, does it make financial sense for you to buy a home right now? So even though interest rates are as high as they are, we're still seeing some markets where buyers are still buying. There are still bidding wars and home prices are still rising. Although they may not be increasing as much as they were a year or two ago, they're still on a rise in some markets where you would think because of the higher interest rates, the home prices would be on a decline, and a really big decline at that. So because of the low inventory that we'll probably experience in 2024, I'm guessing that home prices won't drop significantly in all markets. And it's very possible that home prices may increase in some markets. Basically what I'm saying is, if you thought that the housing market was difficult in 2023, just wait until we get to 2024. Let's talk about people who shouldn't buy a home right now. If you're currently a homeowner with a low interest rate, let's say it's 6% and under, I wouldn't consider buying a home. Now, of course, there are going to be some situations where people need to buy a home no matter what, like you're moving for work or your family's growing, something like that. And if you happen to have an interest rate that's less than 3%, I think you have to have a really good reason to move and lose that 3% interest rate. I think people who aren't financially stable shouldn't buy a home, which of course that makes sense, right? But this is what I mean. Buying a home is getting more and more expensive. Not just the home price itself, but things like home insurance and property taxes have gotten more expensive. So if you're someone who's living month to month and you don't have a large savings, it's probably best not to buy a home right now. The key is to take a really good look at your finances to see if you're financially ready to buy a home, because it is a really big commitment, especially right now. If you don't plan on being in the home for a long time, like at least 5 to 10 years, and really 5 is probably on the low end, then it probably doesn't make sense for you to buy a home right now. Buying a home right now is what I would consider a long-term play. What that means is I think home prices in a lot of markets aren't going to appreciate as much as they have in the past few years, obviously, but they also may not appreciate at their normal yearly rate of about 3 to 4% appreciation each year. So because of that, it's going to take longer for you to get equity in the home, so it'll be difficult for you to be able to sell and then have money left over for your next step. Alright, so here are some strategies that you can use to buy a home in a difficult market. I wouldn't suggest buying a home that just came on the market if you're in a market where it's common to have multiple offers and bidding wars. You want to stay away from potentially overpaying for a home. So what I would recommend is trying to look at homes that have been on the market for a little while, maybe 2 or 3 months. It's going to kind of depend on what your market is and what a long time is for your area. It's possible that those homes might be overpriced and that's why they haven't sold yet. And there are a few other reasons why it might have been on the market as long as it has. But what might happen is the sellers might be a little bit more willing to negotiate than sellers that have just gone on the market. Another strategy you can use is buying an off-market property. So this is what this means. Let's say there's a particular neighborhood or side of town that you're really interested in living in. What you can do is have your real estate reach out to the owners of those homes and see if they'd be interested in selling. Now, of course, most people probably aren't looking to sell right now, but this is a strategy that I've used before, and I know a lot of people who have had success with using this technique. I think the best way to avoid overpaying for a home in a challenging market like this is working closely with your real estate agent. If you need help finding a real estate agent, I can help you. The link is in the description. When you want to make an offer on the home, I would have your real estate agent do a comp or comparative market analysis. Basically, what the real estate agent is doing is they're taking the subject property, which is the property that you want to make an offer on, and they're comparing it to homes in the neighborhood or surrounding area, and they're trying to find homes that are similar to the subject property, and basically you compare what the price of the sold properties are next to what the subject property should sell for. Now, of course, this is different than an appraisal, but this is the tools that a real estate agent will use, so hopefully you don't overpay for a home. By doing this, you'll know if what you're offering to buy the home for makes sense when you compare it to other homes that have sold in the neighborhood recently. I would also see if my real estate agent has data on where the home prices are headed in the area you're thinking of buying. Sometimes they get data from their local realtor association. What you're trying to do here is see if home prices are consistently decreasing. If they are, then maybe you should wait until it seems like home prices have hit their lowest amount. Home prices do fluctuate, so what you're looking for here is consistent data that shows the home prices decreasing month over month for the last 4 to 6 months, for instance. You also want to consider the condition of the home. Are you investing a lot of money in the home once it's closed? If you're buying a home that's a little older, for instance, the roof is 15 years old, the AC is 10 to 15 years old, whatever it might be, basically these major systems are a bit older and may need to be replaced sooner than later, then that can be a bit of a liability. What could happen is these items might need to be replaced around the same time and sooner than later, and this could cause a financial strain. That's why it's really important to have a thorough inspection done of the home before buying it. In that way, you can get a good idea of what the current condition of the home is and if there are other major repairs that might come up within the next couple of years. By doing your due diligence and working closely with your real estate agent, you should be able to buy a home even in a very challenging market like we're probably going to experience in 2024. For more videos about the real estate market, check out this playlist or this playlist to learn everything you need to know about the home buying process. If you have any real estate questions, my contact information is in the description below. Thanks for watching to the end, especially if you're a subscriber.